Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song by One Direction called Irresistible. And it starts off with this cool little lead lick, and if you wanted to, you could kind of follow those notes. And I'm kind of doing this fingerstyle using my thumb for my basses and kind of index and middle finger to kind of play the G and the B string together. And what you could do is kind of start out with the first finger on the B string 3rd fret, and that kind of becomes a theme through the song. And then you could take second finger on the D string 4th fret and kind of do a thumb note there to kind of do a hammer on into the 5th fret on the D string. So it's kind of a 4th fret, 5th fret hammer on. And then you could go index on the G string, middle finger on the B string, and then kind of do a thumb, index, fingers together, thumb, fingers together, thumb, fingers together kind of after that. So it's kind of a hammer on, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, hammer on, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. So that might be kind of a cool way to kind of work it through the tune, and actually we'll talk about some fingerstyle options through the tune too. Or you could back up that intro with a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, second finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, kind of working that for your G major chord too. And actually, if you kind of dig on that idea, actually, you could even kind of move this idea actually. So instead of doing it from the 4th fret to the 5th fret as your hammer on, if you wanted some lower notes, you could follow those same notes by doing 2nd fret on the low E string to the 3rd fret on the low E string as the hammer on, and you can kind of carry through the rest of that idea. So if you wanted to, you could use different bass notes. That's kind of the idea, kind of using that low E, F sharp to G note to kind of follow that same idea, but a little bit lower. And then from there we go into our main verse, and actually there's a couple other strumming options though through the song, though, especially if you're just starting out, that might be a little bit easier. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So if you do the G and just try that a lot, you'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So if you were a way to just kind of strum through the intro, you could just kind of follow that instead. And then from there we go into our verse, and it really kind of becomes all about where the bass note is, and you kind of hold on to that 3rd fret on the B string, and you kind of start out with that 5th fret on the D string, and then we go to 4th fret on the D string. It's kind of an F sharp note, and then you may have to move your fingers for this, because then we go to 2nd fret on the D string with that 3rd fret on the B string at the same time, kind of working those two. It's kind of an idea, and then the open D. So it's kind of all about this bass walk actually, and you can kind of do that thumb, index, middle kind of twice on each one. So you have kind of a G note in the bass, 5th fret on the D, 4th fret on the D, 2nd fret on the D, open D, and then we go to 3rd fret on the A string, and another 3rd fret on the A string, and then we kind of go back to that 2nd fret on the D string, and then at the very end you go 4th fret on the D string for the F sharp note, and then open D. So it's a little weird, and actually on the C you could kind of throw in a hammer on there too if you wanted to, where you could play 2nd fret on the A string and do a hammer on into the C note kind of for that bass line. So the whole bass line actually, and this is kind of cool, is kind of following that G, F sharp, E, D, B, C, E, F sharp, D, and then we kind of start that over again. It's kind of a G, F sharp, E, D, B, C, C, E, F sharp, D, kind of an idea. And you could take that fingerstyle idea and kind of just add it to that. So you could kind of do that 5th fret on the D string and kind of just try and hold on to that 3rd fret on the B string, and you may have to kind of adjust your fingers to kind of get to that 2nd fret with the 3rd note, and then the open D, and then we can throw in the hammer on the A string for the C note, and then you have that E note on the D string, 2nd fret, and then 4th fret on the D for the F sharp, and then kind of the open D. So the bass notes you're following are kind of that 5 on the D, 4 on the D, 2nd on the D, open D, 2, 3 on the A, 3 on the A, 2 on the D, 4, open, 5, 4, 2, open D, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then the 2, 2, 4, so kind of working G, F sharp, E, D, B, C, 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 E, F sharp, D. If you kind of dig on that. Now the chords that would back that up, actually, and kind of what the bass notes are kind of implying, is you'd start on the G major chord, but then you go to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes the G on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret, and if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now while you're on Ds in general, it can be kind of cool to lift off the 2nd finger, make that a D suspended 2nd, or you could add in the pinky on the high E on the 3rd fret for a D suspended chord. Or what's really kind of going on for us in the song is kind of the F sharp note in the bass, actually. So you could even kind of take your thumb and add that low E string on the 2nd fret and make that a D slash F sharp chord. Or you could readjust your fingers and do 1st finger on the low E 2nd, 2nd finger on the G 2nd, 3rd on the high E 2nd, pinky on the B string 3rd for a D slash F sharp, or a D with an F sharp in the bass. Or you could use something called a D sus slash F sharp. Do 1st finger on the low E 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the G 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd fret, and kind of work that. Make that a little bit easier to kind of make that G to the D slash F sharp change, if you kind of dig on that. And then from the D slash F sharp, we go to an E minor chord. When we play E minor, 1st finger goes to the A 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, and if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord. It sounds really sad. Now while you're on E minors, you may want to think about adding in 3 on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd, making that an E minor 7. And then from the E minor, we go to a D major chord. And then from the D, we go to a C major chord. When we play C major, 1st finger goes to the B string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the 1st finger, making that a C major 7, kind of dig on that sound. Or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd for a C major 9 and kind of say some stuff around the C. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do 1st on the B string 2nd, 2nd finger on the A 3rd, 3rd finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd for a C major chord. And then at the end, you may want to just kind of go back to that E minor chord and then the D major. Or if you really want to get kind of cool about it, you could do the D slash F sharp D as a hit at the very end. So through that whole verse part, D slash F sharp, E minor, D, C, and then an E minor, D. Now, so we tried that with our down, down, up, down. The weird part is some of the chords only half it, so we only do down, down, up on each of those chords. So we have G with a down, down, D slash F sharp, E minor down, down, D down, down, up, C down, down, up, down, up, E minor down, down, D down, down, up, G, D slash F sharp, E minor, D, C, E minor, D. Or if you're digging on the kind of the bass note idea, actually, from the tune, you could kind of add that in by adding basses to those chords. So you could make it kind of a bass with a low E string on that G chord, just like we're doing in the intro. And if you wanted to, you could kind of follow those bass notes. So on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, you do a bass for the chord. So on the G, you'd have low E for the bass. On the D, you'd normally have the D for the bass, unless you're doing the D slash F sharp, in which case you have low E for the bass. On the E minor, you'd have low E for the bass. And then on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. So we could kind of try that first with kind of adding basses too, and have that G with low E bass, D slash F sharp, E minor with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, E minor with low E bass, D with a D bass, G with low E bass, D slash F sharp, E minor, D, C, E minor, D. And then from that verse, then we go into a pre-chorus part. And on the pre-chorus, actually, you kind of hear this other bass line kind of come in where you start second fret on the A string. It's kind of a B note. And you could even kind of take that idea we were starting with and kind of follow those notes. You can have second fret on the A string, and then we go to third fret on the A string, it's kind of the C note, and then second fret on the D string for an E note, and then open D for a D note, and then we go back to the B on the A string second, third fret on the A, and then we kind of end with open D. Wanted to, you could even kind of throw in that little piece of the D chord. Actually, I think you kind of hear that in the recording where you may want to do thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, and then do index, middle, but do a hammer on into that second fret on the G string, kind of a little piece of the D chord. If you want to kind of throw that in. And then we almost kind of start that over again with kind of that B minor, C, and then the E, open D, or you may want to kind of work that as a stop time. Or the chords that would kind of back up that B note would be a B minor chord. When we play B minor, first finger goes across the entire second fret, and this is one possibility, we'll talk about some others, but then second finger on the B string third, third finger on the D fourth, pinky on the G fourth for a B minor chord. Or you may want to think about lifting off the pinky and making that a B minor 7 chord. Or another way to play B minor 7 is to do first finger on the A second, second finger on the G second, third finger on the high E second fret, and kind of work that for your B minor. Or you could do first finger on the A second, second finger on the G second, third finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third for kind of a B minor kind of an idea. Or especially like with the lick, actually we're only working that one little piece of it, actually kind of just the first finger on the A string second, third finger on the B string third, is kind of that B minor idea from the tune. But if we tried that with kind of our down, down, up, down, up, we could just kind of strum through that if you're just starting out. And then you have B minor, C, E minor, D. So we get a lot of that halving idea. B minor, C, then we do our whole pattern on the D, down, up, B minor, down, up, C, down, up, B minor, down, up, B minor, down, up, C, down, up, B, down, up, or you could add basses to that. And on the B minor, you'd have the A string for your bass on that chord. So you could kind of throw in some basses and have B minor with an A bass, C with an A bass, B minor with a B bass, D with a D bass, B minor with an A bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, B minor, C, B minor, D, B minor, C, D. And then from there, then we'd be going into our chorus part. And you could kind of follow licks, those same fingerstyle licks for that too. You'd have kind of your C major for 2, open D, B minor, and then we have our E minor, so kind of a low E string actually you can kind of throw in for that. So it's kind of following the bass line, a third on the A, open D, second on the A, open E, and then third on the A, open D, and then G, or low E on third. And then we go back to 3 on the A, open D, and then open E, but then you hear this cool change to open A before we go to the third fret on the A string. So you can kind of follow those notes, kind of working the fingerstyle idea. And you'd have second on the A, or starting on the C note. So you'd have 3 on the A, open D, 2 on the A, open E, 3, open, 3 on the low E, 3 on the A, open D, open E, open A, 3 on the A. Or if you were backing that up with chords, the weird part would be at the very end we'd throw in an A major when we play A major. First finger goes to the D on the 2nd fret, second finger on the G 2nd fret, third finger on the B string 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now, around A's in general, it can be kind of cool to lift off the third finger, make that an A suspended 2nd, or you could add in the pinky on the B 3rd for an A suspended chord and kind of say some things around the A. Or, especially on this part, you may want to kind of lift off the 2nd finger and make that an A7 chord. Or you can readjust the fingers and kind of add in the pinky on the high E3rd for an A7 chord. Or you may want to think about an A7 sense, where you do first finger on the D 2nd, second finger on the G 2nd, third finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E3rd for the A. If you're kind of working that voicing, that might be kind of cool too. So we could kind of try it as a strum idea too. And we'd have kind of that C, down, up, D, down, up, D minor, down, up, D minor, down, up, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, A, C, kind of doing that. Or we could throw in basses, and actually on the A chord, you have the A string for the bass on that chord. So you'd have C with an A bass, D with a D bass, B minor with an A bass, C minor with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, E minor low E bass, A with an A bass, C with an A bass. So you can kind of play around with that a little bit too. And then from that chorus, then we'd be going into it almost like an intro return, but our basses are going quicker. And actually it kind of throws in the A chord, A note too. So you kind of start 5th on the D, 4th on the D, 2nd on the D, open D, 3 on the A, 2 on the A, open A, and then open D. It's kind of that little break right after the chorus. So you're going G, G slash F sharp, or D slash F sharp, E minor, D. From there, then we go back into our verse part. So we're kind of back to our G, D slash F sharp, E, D, C, E minor, D, G, D slash F sharp, E, D, C, E, D, kind of through that verse. And then from there, then we'll be going into our pre-chorus part again. So we'd have our B, C, E minor, D, B minor, C, D, B minor, C, E minor, D, B minor, C, D. And then from that pre-chorus, then we'll be going into our chorus part again. D, B minor, E minor, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, then our A, C, and then from there, then we'll be going into our bridge part. And on our bridge, actually, you may want to kind of work that as just a strumming idea. We start out on the C major with our whole pattern, and then we have our D with our down, down, G, down, down, C, down, down, up, down, up, D, down, up, G, down, up, C, D, E minor, and then we got an A, and then you may want to do a C with a down, down, up, and then kind of hit a big G at the very end. Or you could add basses to those, and then you have C with a bass, down, up, down, D with a D bass, G with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, E minor, A, C with a bass, down a G. Or another strum pattern that I would think about, especially on that bridge part, is something called a 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're dividing that beat into 2 parts with our down, down, up, up, down. 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is where you divide that into 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is long down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, down. And what I mean by that is if you take the C and do it down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what you'd be doing on the first beat. Then on the second beat, you do it down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down. And then on the third beat, you do it up on 2, down on 3. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down. And then on the fourth beat, you'd be going down and down, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So all together, you got down, 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 up, down, down, down. Pattern to work through that bridge part. And on the weird part is on the chords that we were halving, you may want to do a down, down, down up to the strum pattern to kind of half that D and G idea. Or if you're a little bit more adventurous, you could kind of split the pattern and kind of make it a D with a down, 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 up, and then go to the G for the up, down, down, down. So we tried it that way. We had a C, or you could add basses to that by doing kind of a bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, kind of through that part. So if we tried adding basses, you'd have C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with a low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with a low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, E minor low E bass, A with an A bass. Working it that way. Or a variation of that 16th pattern that I really kind of dig on sometimes is a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, which you could kind of turn into a bass, up, down kind of idea. And this can be a little bit weird, but if we tried it that way, you got C, D with a D bass, up, G with a low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a down, up, G down, up, down, C, D, E minor, A with an A bass, C, up, G, kind of working it that way. And then from there, we'll be going into our last chorus. And you can kind of take any of these ways that we're talking about, though, and kind of make it. And I think on that last chorus, actually, they go back to the kind of those intro ideas of the fingerstyle. So you have kind of C, D, B minor, E minor, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, A, C. Or you may want to try some of the strumming. And actually, from that chorus, then we'd be going into our outro chorus, which kind of throws a couple extra A's on the end, and actually before we kind of go to our C build up. Now you could kind of work the 16ths through that pattern too, and if you're kind of digging on that, you'd have the C, D, E minor, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, very end, you kind of bring back our intro part actually from the very beginning. So kind of that 4, 5, 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, kind of working that idea of hammer on, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, kind of around the G chords. You do that 3 times, and then you'll kind of hear a big hit on a big G major chord at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you can strum through and kind of fingerstyle through Irresistible by One Direction. So good luck!